about Maps Pro and the proper uses of it. So I thought I'd make a quick video to explore Maps Pro, what it is, and all the functions and features that we'd recommend using in your lawn care, landscaping, pest control, or snow removal business. I'll give you some examples how to actually use it for best practice, as well as getting some of the images from Maps Pro actually into Service Autopilot for your crews to see. So if you're looking where to stack snow, or maybe where a backflow preventer is for an irrigation system, things like that, we need to know where those are, how to share that information with your teams in the mobiles as well. So as typical fashion here, I'm going to break out and put this screen up here and hop right in. So if you have any questions around Maps Pro or any of those things in Service Autopilot, feel free to drop the questions in the live comments here and be happy to answer them live or in the next recorded version. And if you're watching this this week, we have Megan Likes coming into the SA Weekly Talk Show at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, talking all things accounting, as well as some of the things going on with COVID-19 for financial planning. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to add in a quick lead, and we're going to go in how to set this up. And we're going to jump right into Maps Pro. And I'm going to make sure that we have a clean instance here for a lead so we can actually go in. So the idea is, once we've got this in here, we've got the lead screen, and we want to go into the More tab. And I guess before we actually do that, for some folks that don't know what Maps Pro is, it's an additional service add-on. So if you go into the avatar here in account and billing, I believe the price of it's $49 a month. Now, originally at Callahan's Lawn Care, we did not have this. We used a pre-service called findlotsize.com, but it was totally worth the $47. I'm not trying to pitch the sale for SA, but it was worth it for workflow and the features I'm going to show you. So it's $47 a month, and you would go in and purchase that. But what we're going to do here is go in back to that lead and show you how to actually use it. So you got to purchase it first, obviously. We're going to go to More, and we're going to go Show Property Measurements. And then we're going to go in and actually measure the property. So I'm going to use the normal test client house that we use, but I'm actually going to go into a commercial property after this to show you the granularity of how it can be used on different types of properties. So we're going to go in and click this area here. Within a couple hundred square feet, you're going to be good. So it's not really worth killing yourself going in here and doing that, with 100 dots. So we're going to grab this area here and double click, and that's going to close out the area. So the original question was, how do we have multiple property measurements? And right here, I'm going to call this turf area. And I think the problem that the gentleman had, or the confusion was, and something I had originally when I started SA, is you need to hit add, and then before it actually lets you usually go, we need to name this. So what we're going to do is go in and hit add, and I'm going to put pavement area. And we can measure the driveway as well for some plowing, or maybe driveway sealing for seal coaters. But we can go in and we're going to measure these areas separately and double click, and that connects it. Now, what I'm going to recommend is you label or you color code these here so you have them. So this is our driveway, and then we're going to make the grass here green. So now every time when we hit save, every time we come back to this client, we have this property. Now, one of the cool things is if we enlarge this out here and dive in, we can still move it around. But what if we want to go in and swivel the property so we get a better idea of, like, say, the landscape beds? Now, this isn't a bad angle right here to actually do the beds. There's a sidewalk in there, but I'm not going to worry about it for the video here live. But this is going to give us a pretty good idea of what these beds actually look like here. So you've got that area in there. And if I suck that back down, I can color code that. I'm going to make that red. And now I've got that. But the cool thing is here is after we kind of grab this, we can manipulate this and actually drag this right down. And as we go in, we've got it right there. so we can actually take a good look and zoom in of what we're looking at here before we go to the satellite. So it's a good idea to get a street view if you have to, if you're doing it with detail. But now we've got this, and as we rotate it around, we really can get a pretty good idea of what we're doing, zooming in here. And obviously it's a little bit clearer before we measured it. But if we go through, it's going to give you that granularity. So the idea is we want to go in and measure it. It's a quick, streamlined process. So if you're using a virtual assistant or you're doing it in your office, this can be delegated quite quickly. And then the idea here would be is if we zoom back out, and I'm going to try this. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work here on the live video. I'm going to actually take a screenshot of this. So based on that, I'm going to take a screenshot, and I'm going to go to my clipping tool. And the idea here is we want to go in and put some property-specific details in here. So let's just say this was an irrigation client where we did irrigation. So this could be the backflow location. So all the things that you may need there, you could put that in there, and then file and save as, and you could just put the address or however you wanted to. The idea is once you have this, we'd save it. We're going to go back in to Service Autopilot, scroll down, and under attachments, I want to attach this file now. So now once it's attached, the crews, depending on the mobile app you're using, can actually pull this up and have an idea of what's going on. So as we scroll down, now we can hit Test House, and it's going to open up that preview. So now you can go in and label all the areas and different things that the crews need to take care of. So the idea is we want to measure it, we want to color code it, and hit save. So every time we pull this up, this image comes up. And then the last thing we want to do is go to custom fields, and you can see the plus signs here. So we don't want the pavement area if I'm measuring turf, and I don't want the beds. So you would turn these two to 0, and then scroll down and hit custom fields and go into your turf square footage and hit save. Now that's going to be the square footage for mowing, aeration, fertilizing, whatever those services are. But the idea is we can make them a null value 0, or we can subtract them. So if we had a pool in the backyard here, which is a little screwy looking pool, but you can make this pool a negative, and it takes the square footage of the non-serviced area out of the equation. And that is going to make it more accurate. So we can detail it down, we can save different parts of the property. And that was the question originally. So this is kind of the example for residential. Now, to do your homework and do it right, before you do this substantially, you got to go in and create custom fields of the things that you're tracking, or you want to be able to so custom fields, you want to build them out, and you need to probably build a pricing matrices based on those custom fields. So once we save it, we pull an estimate template up, and those products and services automatically load with a price, budgeted time, and cost. Other thing I'll show you while we're on this one, and then I'm going to hop over to commercial example, is we can actually do linear feet here. And that would also give you the linear feet. You could save that, say, for linear feet of stick edging. Now, one of the, I don't want to say drawbacks is, but you can't do multiple points here and disconnect them, to my knowledge. So you may have to do multiple points, add them up, and physically save them under the A for auto assist if you had a form to catch it, or under the edit tab under custom fields. But very, very cool thing to do. Even if you can't see it on the satellite, I recommend pulling up with your car or truck and measuring it on site from the vehicle. And then the last thing I want to do is go into a commercial setting. And when we go into property measurements, this may actually be measured out, but there's a couple ideas here I want to kind of share with you. So no matter the industry, this is going to be the way to tackle it. All right, so this actually isn't here, and this is a count here for lawn mowing and snow removal. So I'm going to show you the example for the snow and then the lawn as well. But the idea here is if we're going in and doing, say, pavement sealing or snow removal, anything to do with the pavement, we can get all of these at once. And even if you're not there for the estimate for that, I'd highly recommend measuring it all once, so anybody in your office could sell it thereafter if you're, if you have a standardized pricing matrix. So what I've done is it is highlighted the whole entire area here. So I'm going to call this gross area parking lot. And then I can add another area for the building. And I'm just going to go in and measure the building here. So we're just going to get the area we're servicing. And we're going to use that tool of the plus and minus sign here. So I'm going to make that negative. So now if I make this building a red area, it's just the highlighted area here. So that's how you'd actually would do that. So it's about a 37,000 square foot parking lot. Now, while you're there, you're probably going to want to go to the turf. So I'm going to go in and measure the turf areas. Now it's broken up. So this is why in a commercial setting, it's a little bit different. So this could be turf 1. This could be turf 2. And we're not really worrying about the sidewalk. A couple hundred square feet is not going to matter. But as we work with different franchises and different businesses, just like we did in my company, this is exactly the process that we use. We want to color code these up so we know exactly what's going on every time we pull this up. And now this is a diagram. So this property on here is this grass that's kind of split between the two. Is that part of our property or their property? So we can go in and then we can make some property specific notes. So we need to add one more area here for turf 3. Right there. And that's also going to be the green area. So now we've gone in and actually defined the turf, the pavement, and now anybody who's watching for sidewalk clearing, we probably want to do sidewalks while we're in there as well for sidewalk plowing and salting. So what we can do then is go in, and this one's pretty continuous here. And we probably got an extra like 2 or 3 feet there, but that's not a big deal. We can just do it in one fell sweep or 2 measurements if you wanted. But now we have our sidewalks. So that's the idea. We want to go in and be able to define the different measurements in a property. And then when we go down, adjust them by the plus and minus or zeros and save each custom field. And now we have all of that in there. So we could, again, take a screenshot of this and say, based on this property, we're stacking all the snow here and all the snow here. So we're cognizant of melt and refreeze because you can see there's a drainage point here and a drainage point here, and there's some other drainage here. And we can stack the snow here because there's another drain. So by going in the summer and documenting this, you can minimize your liability for slip and fall and have a very clean, executable plan for your team and a standardized methodology through Maps Pro. So Maps Pro for the $49 a month, highly recommend it. It will save hours and hours and hours a week, and it will state a standardized process for whether it's in your office, in the field, or halfway around the world with virtual assistants. So comments or questions, I'll double check here if there is any while we're live. If not, I will be keeping an eye on this broadcast here for the next few days to answer any questions. But whole idea here is Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live here on Facebook as a certified advisor of Service Autopilot, where we're here to help you navigate Service Autopilot and have success, whether it's in your lawn care, snow removal, home cleaning, or pest control business. And want to give a shout out to any of the home cleaning folks that are watching this. If you have any questions how to use Service Autopilot in your residential or commercial cleaning business, we're happy to help with those questions as well, because a lot of our work of implementation and training in Service Autopilot is not only in the lawn care industry, but the home cleaning industry as well as commercial cleaning. But this is Maps Pro. Highly recommend it. Like I said, we didn't use it initially, but once we saw the time savings and the standardization for estimates, it was a game changer. So Callahan's Corner, you ask the questions, we answer them live on Facebook. We'll see you again tomorrow. And thanks for submitting that question today.